Hey, this is Lewis from Breakdance, and we are always paying attention to the small details with Breakdance. It's really important for us to get the small details, the polish, the little things right. These things add up over time, and they really give Breakdance a more premium, polished, complete feel. So we're going to compare Breakdance to Elementor when adding a shadow to a button. This is a really common thing, adds a nice designer's touch to buttons. You'll see it on all sorts of websites. Let's do it in Breakdance, and then let's do it in Elementor. So here's a button, and let's go to the Design tab, go to Button and Custom to make this a custom button. And under the Custom Button options, we'll go to Effects, and we're going to add a shadow to the button. So we'll click Add Shadow, and we don't want any offset or blur. We just want a 4-pixel spread, and we're going to make this a light gray. So you can see the shadow on the button now. That's it. And we're going to make this shadow grow on hover. So let's go to the button again, go to the option for the shadow, and let's click the hover icon to edit the hover styles. And we're just going to add a shadow. It's going to be different on hover. No offset. This time, let's add a little bit of blur and more spread. Now we mouse over the button, the shadow grows and blurs. I'll make it really obvious by making the effect a little bit more extreme. So again, we'll click the hover icon, and let's just make it blur more and spread more. And there we go. So it's really obvious what's going on. There we go. That's what happens. Now let's say we made this button more rounded. So we go to Custom, and corners, we'll just choose round. There we go. The shadow's round as well. And the shadow's round when it grows. Okay, let's try to do the same thing in Elementor. Should be easy, right? Okay, let's go to Elementor, and here's our button. Let's go to the style options for the button. And there is a shadow option for the button. It's right here. But you can't customize this shadow on hover. So let's go ahead and we'll just make it red just to make it easier to see here. Whoops. So here's our shadow, and we're just going to do 3-pixel spread and no blur. Well, there it is. But how do you change the shadow on hover? You can go to hover here, but that doesn't let you change the box shadow. So you can't use this shadow control in the button style. Instead, you have to go to the Advanced tab and use the shadow control there. So let's go to Advanced, and let's go to Border. And here we have box shadow control that we can actually edit on hover. So let's set up a normal one, and then we'll set up the hover one. So here's our 3-pixel spread normally. And oh no, the shadow's going all around the wrapper for the button, not the button. We can fix that. It's just a couple more clicks. I'll fix that in a minute. And now let's go ahead and set the shadow on hover. So we're just going to make that spread a little bit more and blur a little bit more. And we'll use the same color. And there we go. Oh, whoops, I need to make it red. And there we go. The shadow expands and blurs on hover. Okay, now we need to fix it so the shadow is only going around the button. So to do that, we're going to go to Layout, and we're going to change the alignment of the button to Align Self Start. And there we go. Now we have the shadow doing what we want it to on hover. You still see this little white area, right? Because the shadow's on the wrapper, not on the button. So if you go to the button style and say you make this like a rounded button, right? Let's say you go like this to make it rounded. Oh no, the shadow isn't round. But in Breakdance, it automatically is because Breakdance it's smart like that. Whereas in Elementor, now it's not. So what are you going to do about that? You're going to have to put in the same border radius in the Advanced tab for the wrapper. So you can go to Border, where we enter the shadow, and then duplicate your border radius. And there we go. Now we've solved the problem. So to recap, in Breakdance, all we had to do was go to Effects, set the shadow on hover. Nothing else. You want a shadow, you go to the shadow control, done. In Elementor, we had to go to the Advanced controls and add a shadow that way, since the button shadow doesn't support hover. And then we had to change the alignment of the button so the wrapper was the right size and the shadow wasn't on the wrapper. And then we had to enter the radius of the button in 2 different places so that the shadow would actually appear on the button and not rectangular when the button's rounded. Again, it's possible to do these same things in Elementor as it is in Breakdance. It's just harder in Elementor. It takes more clicks. It wasn't it wasn't as well thought out. We really thought out a lot of these small details in breakdance.